Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email us tmosso@the1916company.com for purchase, pricing, and availability details. Today we discuss a model that was made from 2004 to 2011, a long-running annual calendar. This is the Patek Philippe 5135G, and specifically this is the 010 model. So in white gold, this is sometimes described as a gondolo. Properly speaking, it's a large cushion case, and by large, I mean huge. This is one of the largest wearing standard Patek Philippe watches, and I'm going to explain this because if you look at the bare measurements, you're going to see it's described as 38 millimeters in white gold. Well, it's nothing like a 38 millimeter watch because from lug tip to lug tip, it's 51.1. It has 21 millimeter spacing between the lugs. It is fairly thin at 11.7, but this is a watch that is described as 38. I encourage you to think of it as more of a 42 or a 43, because non-round watches, especially broad ones, lug to lug, tend to wear larger than their rated size. And there you can see, this watch is too big for me, and my wrist is 16 centimeters circumference. The lugs are pretty self-evidently over the edge of my wrist at the edge, and even if the strap were to break in a bit, it's an uncomfortable match. So I would recommend a wrist of 17 centimeters circumference or larger to wear it. You will note, however, that with a sloped case flank and a sub 12 millimeter thickness, it'll slide underneath the dress cuff. The strap, you can see it's large alligator leather scales, but these are not rectangular scales. It's a dark brown with a semi-gloss finish. There's a lot of bolstering to add volume. Then we have a sheer cut and lacquered edge. This is a brand new Patek Philippe factory strap, calfskin on the bottom, no crimping, no gouging. It uses Patek's pull tab spring bars, so you can pop the strap off the case without a tool. You can see a white gold polished spade style pin buckle. This type of white gold is known as gray gold. It is an 18 karat white alloy that is white all the way through, so it never needs to be rhodium plated, and if it ever gets scratched, it's the same color all the way through. You can also see some design elements to visually improve the aesthetic, such as the slight countersink of the crown. It doesn't stick out as much as it could from the shoulder of the watch. And then we have a little bit of an inset cushion-shaped bezel, so we have more of a tiered look than a look of something that's very unitary, monolithic, and fat. We have squared-off ends to the lugs, which are blended organically into a polished and compound curved case. And then we have the Calatrava cross on the crown, the logo of the manufacturer. We'll find it a few places on this watch. We also have pusher adjusters for correcting the calendar. We have here an aperture-style annual calendar. Patek Philippe invented the annual calendar back in 1996. It was their invention. But the aperture-style display is probably the easiest solution that they've offered for reading the calendar. This is an American-style calendar, as it's known in Switzerland, with a day, date, and month. And then we have bi-Arabic numerals in a sort of Art Nouveau font at 9 and 3, redolent of the time frame when cushion-style cases like this were popular, the first third of the 20th century. We have polished white gold Dauphine-style hands at center, and in fact, all the indices and the numerals are white gold, so they won't tarnish, oxidize, or discolor with time. The dial primarily features a sunburst around its outer circumference, but the center includes a slight sink and then a concentric pattern. We have a coaxial moon phase, which has an adjustment of once every 122 years. And then we have a 24-hour display inside of it. So you know, for example, whether you're looking at 4 p.m. or 4 a.m. In fact, you could see we're in the second half from 12 to 24, so this is 4 p.m. that you're looking at right there. We have a polished lancet style, counterweighted seconds hand. The annual calendar needs one adjustment per year. Just remember, the moon phase here is the same as a perpetual, one adjustment every 122 years. Flip it all over. We have a version of caliber 324, unidirectional automatic winding with a 45-hour power reserve. It has a free-sprung Gyromax style balance adjusted in 5 positions. And if you look here, you can see that this is actually before the arrival of the silicone hairsprings. This one has a ferrous hairspring. And then it also has the Geneva hallmark, which was discontinued on these after mid-2009, so the nostalgic older standard is often welcome. 5-position adjustment with a free sprung balance that makes for a very exacting timekeeper, and these are well known for keeping excellent time. The movement, as you can see, is handsomely decorated with bevels, stripes, engine turn perlage, black polished screw heads, and then a lovely snailing on the barrel cover. It all pivots on 34 jewels, and inside this case with a screw-down case back, it is water resistant down to 30 meters, which is to say splash and rain only in practical terms. If you love this watch, it's a long-running reference, but a relative rarity. You're likely to have the only one you'll encounter. Reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.